Let me explain how I'd launch an online education business in 2025 from scratch. Over the past 5 years, I've helped over 3,000 clients build their own online education business. In this video, I'll break down the exact 10 steps that I would take right now if I was going to launch my own online education business from scratch. I'll walk you through it. Let's jump in. So how do you build your own online education business from scratch? Okay, well, here's exactly what I would personally do after taking the teacher project from zero to multiple 7 figures a year and helping over 3,000 clients build their own online tutoring businesses from scratch. I'll walk you through the 10 steps that I would take right now if I had to literally just start all again from nothing to build my own online education business. Now, I'm taking this from a point of where you've never taught or had a business inside of this industry before as well. So if you've got experience and you've scaled another online business, you might be able to start a little bit ahead. But this is what I would do if I had zero experience in any industry, teaching online or working online, if I was starting from absolute scratch. So let's jump in. So the first thing that I would think about is making sure that I'm going to serve one particular client. I'm also going to get the model correct as well. And so the last thing that you want to do is try and serve people in a few different niches, right? Or people with different problems, people who want different results. So let's take online tutoring for an example. If I'm a maths teacher or a primary teacher or elementary teacher or a secondary school teacher, I do not want to take, if I'm the maths teacher, a student who's in 12th grade and a student who's in 6th grade, right? I want to really focus in on one particular type of student, first of all. The reason being, this is really important because it's going to allow you to run the right model inside of your business, okay? Just the same as if you were teaching or trying to build an online education business in multiple different niches, you're trying to serve a whole host of people. Let's say it was fitness, and you were trying to help men who wanted to get lean, that wanted to build a ton of muscle, and women who wanted to lose a ton of weight, right? 2 very different people. You'd end up having to create one-on-one programs, work with clients privately, and therefore you're immediately setting yourself up for failure because you're gonna have to sell your time. Okay, so the model is really important. So in the tutoring world, we teach our clients to run group tutoring lessons because it allows teachers to then build a few lessons after school if they're still inside of the classroom, which means they can leverage their time. They can impact more students. What they earn in that particular hour of teaching is going to go up. The prep work is, of course, easier because you've got the same type of student inside of the group class, all right? And so making sure you're focusing on one specific person is key, okay, to make sure you can run a group-based model that helps you leverage your time. Okay, now the second thing I would then do is once I'd worked out who I was going to help, okay, now I'm going to make sure that I can get speaking to these potential clients as soon as possible, all right? And so in order to do that, if I'm already working a full-time job, other stuff going on, I haven't got the time to sit on social media and, post on social media, browse these groups, online social media groups, and try and find clients and do a ton of outreach, which is reaching out to other people. If I'm going to launch a business, I don't really have any other overheads other than having to invest, especially online, right? You literally just need a few pieces of software like a Zoom account, for example. It's not a lot of money, all right? So there's such an opportunity here to start a business that could scale fast, like unlimited ceiling, and you really don't have to put any money down to get started. It's that crazy. And so if that's the case, I'm just going to invest a little bit into marketing, right? So once I've worked out who I'm going to help, I can now pay Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, whatever, to place my advertisement, okay, speaking to my ideal client avatar, who it is I'm helping, what I'm going to do for them, telling them about my offer. I'm just going to pay it to the social media platforms. That way I'm leveraging my time because I'm not having to spend a ton of time like reaching out to people and posting and all of that type of stuff. So I can go about my day, okay, whether I've got a full-time job, and then I can follow up with my leads when I get out of work or whatever. And look, if you don't have a full-time job and you're literally just doing nothing and you're trying to focus on building your own online education business, sure, you can mix both, what we call organic advertising, which is you paying with your time, posting on social media, creating value-driven posts, advertising your services manually, and you can mix it with some paid advertising as well, okay? And that's if you've got more time, right? For those of you who haven't, you're going to need to use things like social media advertising. Once I've done that, all I'm going to do is once I've found the winning ad, I'm going to plot on my calendar. Now, this is from, you might have heard Robin Sharma's 5 a.m. club. Inside of that, he writes down, or he mentions a formula called the 90-91, right? And so this essentially is 90 minutes for 90 days straight, one time a day. So all you're going to do, you're going to put 90 minutes on your calendar, schedule it, mark it on the calendar because then it doesn't get ignored. Do this for 90 days straight, at least once a day. And look, if you can't do 90 minutes at the moment, do 60. Okay, if you can do more, great. Do another 90-minute block afterwards, or do what Robin Sharma mentions as the 60-10 block. So you go from a 90-minute block on your calendar, do it once a day, have a short break, and then do a 60-10, which is then a 60-minute of focused work with a 10-minute block, and then you repeat and you do another 60-minute. That's if you've got more time on your calendar. And look, the best thing about this is you're obviously putting time into your own business, right? And what you put in, you're going to get out. Okay, people are going to work harder, they're going to get better results, they're going to get faster results. Okay, now if you don't have that much time, obviously work out what you can commit to each day, but schedule it. And so this time is then reserved to actually focus on speaking to your leads and then taking potential sales calls once you get them booked in. Okay, now in terms of the actual advertising process that you run, I've used this advertising process twice for my own successful online businesses. And this is exactly what I've taught to all of my clients in the beginning to help them get launched and help them gain students fast. We use simple messenger ads. No complicated websites, no complicated funnels. Literally, the prospects click on an ad, then they enter into a messenger conversation, or sometimes we might use an instant form on Facebook, okay, which is just a populated form on Facebook or Messenger. And then that way you can speak to your clients in Messenger. Once they click on the ad, you can educate them, you can build trust, you can establish rapport, you can qualify them, and then book them in for a potential call if they're a good fit. Now, you also give the prospects the opportunity to book themselves in. So you could end up coming out of your full-time job, and then you've got some calls on your calendar with people who've booked themselves in from these sponsored ads that you're running, okay? And then before the call, you just want to give some sort of pre-call homework to educate and build trust with the prospects. So it could just be a lesson that you've recorded. It could just be an overview of you walking through how your program is going to run and your online course is going to run. It could be, if you already got some, probably not if you're starting from scratch, but you might have some student testimonials, you know, and that'd be something you could add in later down the line as some homework prior to the call taking place, because you need to build some trust. You don't want to do all of the selling up front on the call with people who've only just clicked on an ad, never heard or seen of you before. And so you really want them coming to the call a little bit warmer, okay? And so some sort of, even just a teaching resource, right? And you might be walking them through a review of you working with students, or how your methodology and how that works and how you get your students results, okay? So once you've done that, you've got your 90-91 block. Maybe you pair it with a 60-10 block as well. This is scheduled on your calendar, so use that time to follow up on revenue-generating activities, okay? Which is just following up with leads and taking sales calls, nothing else. Now, all you then do, you set the next 3 to 4 weeks, okay, on your calendar, in your diary, you clear it out. This is all you are focused on, and you do a pre-selling process, okay? What that means is, you're not going to start teaching any clients yet, because what you can do is you can take down the payment once you speak to these people, okay? You take down the payment from them, and their class doesn't start yet. You know, the education you're going to be giving your students, it hasn't started yet. You really want to run this pre-sales process if you're just starting from scratch, because it allows you to start with more clients, right? And so you'll find out why this is key in just a second. And so if that's the case, once you're then speaking, and during that time, by the way, you do not prep any course material or anything like that. And a rule of thumb I always like to use when I was starting from scratch was always just be 1 to 2 weeks ahead of my clients. And so I remember back in 2017, I spent 9 months building out the perfect course structure, creating all these lesson documents, filming all of these videos, built it into this shiny membership site, and I thought it was like the bee's knees, right? I thought, hey, this is just so amazing. Issue is, I didn't have any clients going through it. I didn't have any clients yet. And then I went to launch the advertising campaigns to get the clients to sell into this product and program that I thought was amazing, and I got nothing but crickets. Then it hit me that a real estate developer, you know, they do not build houses first. They sell the house, then they build the house, all right? And so this is how you build your own online business. If you've got no clients yet, do not spend hours and hours building lovely, shiny resources, because in the beginning, all you need to do is show up and teach, Okay, and that's it. So you can just build as you go. All right. And so you do that for your first iteration of clients as you walk them through your program, whatever it is you're teaching. And then later down the line, once you've actually got clients, you've got money coming in the door, then you can make everything look nice. Okay. If you're a teacher and you work with students, you've already got expertise up in here. So just teach. So do not spend any time creating resources, anything like that for students you do not have yet. This 3 to 4 week period is purely for pre-selling. Okay. Taking sales calls. So you're doing two things: generating a sales call and taking sales calls. If you're not doing one of those two things, you're doing it wrong. You need to stop yourself. Okay. And so as I was saying, you might have a rule of thumb, obviously leading into the first class starting with your students. Then at that point, you might prep the first lesson that you're going to teach, which should be very, very quick. Right. And so zero prep work. Okay. That means you just focus on generating revenue for your business right at the start. Okay. Zero prep needed.
Guys, quick interrupt. I hope you're enjoying the video, but I wanted to make sure you picked up your copy of Teaching on Your Own Terms. It's my best-selling book, and it shares with you the exact 5 steps what I've used with over 2,000 teachers at this point, helping them build their dream online teaching businesses. It went to bestseller in 7 categories. It's been featured by NASDAQ in Times Square, New York City. And I know you're going to love it. Inside of the book, you're going to learn things like how to position yourself as the go-to tutor in the marketplace, and the offer that you can create to get your ideal students reaching out, and how to communicate that. I'll share with you what I've seen as the best advertising strategies to get in front of new students and parents who want what you've got, how to sell your services, and everything you actually need to include in an online group tutoring business to make sure your students crush it and get great results. There's some free gifts and bonuses in there. I think in the first couple of pages, there's a link. You can go and grab some free gifts on me. But I know you're going to love it. Teaching on Your Own Terms. I'll leave a link down below in the comments, and go and pick up your copy today.
And then before they start, or even the first lesson you can just run it as a big onboarding call. And because if you've sold people into your program, let's say whatever it is you're going to be teaching into your course 3 weeks prior, they were one of the first few people that you enrolled in your pre-sales process, then you know that you're going to really kind of need to reestablish why they got started. So you're going to need to get their buy-in again. And so you want to run an onboarding call, get them excited, let them know how the whole thing's going to go. Now, so if that's what you're doing in those first 3 to 4 weeks, what do you present to these people to make it a no-brainer for them? Because remember, when you're just starting from scratch in a new industry, you do not have any trust. Right? You haven't got any experience teaching these people. Now, if I personally wanted to go and launch a new business, I could use my track record of helping other people grow their businesses and my own brand, authority, everything like that, what I've done here at the Teacher Project. So I probably wouldn't need to do this, right? But if you're starting from scratch with zero business and you want to build your own online education business, well, you're going to need to offer something, that is going to be a no-brainer for the people you speak to, because your sales skills probably aren't going to be that good. Again, you don't really have any established business yet, so there's a lack of trust. And so really what I would do is I would offer a kind of let's date, not get married scenario first. And what that means is I'd probably say, like, for my first somewhere 25 to 50 clients, I'd give them the opportunity to just come and test it out for 30 days at a reduced rate. Now, the more people you can get in this launch phase, the better, because the more testimonials you're going to get. And that's going to be key to growing your business long term. Okay. So if you can fill 50 slots, 50 students in group classes, and let's say you just have 10 groups, which could be 10 hours of teaching, 5 students in a group, that's 50 students. So whatever you get over this 3 to 4 week pre-sales process, just cap it there. Okay. And so get as many as you can. And so, yeah, just exchange. Okay. Make a great exchange. Date before you get married. It's 30 days. It's a reduced rate. For example, we might tell our clients $97 or whatever, £97 when they're just getting started, on the condition that they can leave a glowing testimonial, and that's going to help you grow your business long term. So that's the offer that you really present to these people. Okay. And you let them know why you're doing it. You're starting this new opportunity. So you've got a reduced rate before you increase the rate, providing they can come in, take action, stay accountable. And once they've experienced it over the next 30 days, okay, and they've got amazing results, then as long as they're willing to leave a glowing testimonial and share their experience, how amazing it's been, then you're willing to offer them one of the reduced rate slots before you increase the rate, okay? And so you just need the volume of people to speak to, okay? And you can probably get started with your own audience as well, people who are already on your social media profiles, as well as the sponsored ads. So that's the offer. Now, after the 3 to 4 weeks pre-sales process, once you've filled as many groups as you can, so you want to be plotting out where these potential groups are going to be on your timetable. Now, what I would do at that point, now, if you haven't filled any yet after the first 30 days, any slots, just keep going. Just extend your pre-sales process, start again, okay? Take it to 3 to 4 weeks down the line. If you've only got one group of students and that's all you've managed to get, you just got 5 or you've just got 10, start teaching, okay? And so at that point, I would shut down my ads. Okay, so I'd turn off the ads, I'd end my pre-sales process, and then I would go to town on showing up for these students for the next 30 days, okay? Making sure everything that I did around my day-to-day was really making sure these students were supported, they got amazing results. I'd be starting to really build out my course structure and work with them. I'd be in the trenches, okay? So this is gonna set you up for long-term success. And then, at the end of the next 30 days, what I would do is 2 things, okay? Once these students have been students of mine for 30 days, I've worked with them, I would then, at the end, I would offer them the opportunity to now, remember I said date, not get married? This is where I'd offer them the opportunity to get married, in essence. I would say, hey, cool, why don't we now commit for 12 weeks? Because now you've built the trust, and what I would do over that 12 weeks, obviously I'm gonna increase the rate. The reason why you want 12 weeks, more predictable, more committed students. Now, not everybody's going to say yes. That's not a problem. But I might even say to them, you can use the initial fee to make it a no-brainer for these guys to put towards the 12 weeks tuition. So I would do that and then extend and upgrade and retain some of my students. Again, if you've done a good job, most of them should retain. Okay. Now, I'd also collect testimonials from these students, video testimonials, so that I could use it in my marketing campaigns. I could now build a sales funnel. I could use this as pre-cool homework, like a case study, how little Jimmy was able to boost his reading grades by, or start reading on grade level if I'm a tutor or a teacher building an online education business in just 30 days, okay? And then so I would use this as an asset to present to parents or students at the beginning or before a sales call with me to establish trust, right? And so if I collect these testimonials from the students I brought in on this kind of beta round and this initial group of students, now I've got that, I'm ready to relaunch ads again. Now, before I relaunch ads, I increase my rate. Okay, these were my founding member students, right? So they got a special exclusive rate for me to set my business up from scratch to benefit me for long term. Too many people are just focused on short-term outcomes, short-term gratification, and they're just like the people in the gym who quit after 2 weeks of not losing weight, right? And so you've got to be attached to the long term. Now you've got these testimonials, you can start thinking long term. You can sell your services for longer term. 12 weeks is great, or even an academic year sometimes if you're a tutor teaching students online. And if I'm increasing the rate, I've got these testimonials, it's going to be way easier to sell. So now at this point, I relaunch my advertising campaigns and I now focus on continuous enrollments. And then that's really it. That's how I would start from scratch. And then at that point, once you hit around 80% capacity, okay, in terms of what you can teach, you cannot make yourself fully booked. And the reason why is simply because if you get fully booked, you don't have time to speak to new students to enroll them. You don't have time to run the marketing side of the business, perhaps some of the prep, the admin that you're going to be doing in the beginning. So you always want to be thinking around about that 75, 80% of your capacity. That's when you then start to hire team members, okay? So you can hire in a tutor and a teacher to help you run this education business. You might hire in an operations assistant, and really at that point, it's just all about more. But the model is key, of course, teaching in groups, and then starting with a no-brainer offer for your clients so you can gain those initial testimonials, which long-term allows you to increase your rate, make selling way easier, and that's how you start your business from scratch when you want to build an online education business. So if you like the video, hit subscribe, hit like for me, or if you want to get our help actually building this all out, you can probably click the link down below this video. There'll be somewhere on there you can either grab my best-selling book, Teaching on Your Own Terms, or you can go and book in a call with my team and we'll map you out a full plan to help you do this so you can launch your own online education business from scratch in 2025. See you in the next video.